Yes, sir, baby. On the radar, live from HMD Studios in Brooklyn. It's the first time we working out of a studio in Brooklyn. It's only right. Got my guy HDBeenDope here with me. What up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
I feel like we don't need to lean completely into the mics. I think we chill a little bit. This is a little different setup than what we're used to.
I feel a little relaxed. This is good.
It's like cool. It's like a vibe that you can't see, but there's clouds above us. But yo, how you been, bro? You know, first and foremost, I always like to check in with the artists because this past year has been crazy. A lot has happened. You know what I'm saying? How you doing mentally? How's everything with you and since the pandemic started?
I'm feeling good right now. Like I'm in a really good space. I think the beginning of the pandemic was interesting for me because like I work in my crib, you know what I'm saying? I got my studio in my crib and shit like that. So shit didn't feel weird to me at all. It was like, all right, nigga, like I'm home. Like it don't even bother me.
Home,
you know what I'm saying? And then it got to a point like the biggest thing I was doing was having more conversations with people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like just tapping in with like just the homies and shit like that. Like even people that I wasn't necessarily speaking to very frequently. But like that shit brought like deep conversation with people. Like actually getting to understand people as like people at their core, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of times, like, you know niggas, but it's like, that's my nigga, I know him. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, to really have the deep talks with people is like, oh, that shit was interesting. So I went through that phase for a little bit. And then after a while, like, I started to feel like, all right, nigga, I'm in the crib. Like, because I was moving. Like, 2019, I went to Sweden. I was in L.A. Like,
I was moving everywhere.
I was moving around for a little bit. So I started to feel it like, damn, nigga, I'm in the crib. Like, it's been a minute since I actually moved around. So I ended up just, like, rearranging my room, like, rearranged my whole crib.
You got to get the feng shui going, you feel me? Like,
you know
the different setup brings different energy and new energy and, like, kind of new vibe and shit.
100%. Like, I got, you know, new couch in my spot now. I got a nice little My Cousin Vinny poster. That's, like, my favorite movie shit. Like
My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah, that's
Why
my
is
shit.
My Cousin Vinny your favorite movie?
Joe Pesci just
Joe Pesci, okay.
Come on, he's fire in that movie, but yeah, that's my shit. But my crib now, you know, it's a little more of my vibe. And then now I'm in a space where it's like I just feel in a very creative space. You know what I'm saying? Like I just been making records. Like that shit feel
just making
good.
music.
Yeah, making joints. So feel good.
And when you're talking about it to your people, were you having like mental health? Because I feel like I personally had a lot of mental health conversations because I went through my own mental health journey last year. You know what I'm saying? Were you having those type of conversations too?
Yeah, nah, 100%. Definitely like mental health shit. I think everything is like really mental health. Like not even on the like stigma of it. It's just like everything's just how you thinking. You know what I mean? Because it's just mental health is just we ask niggas how you feeling? You good? Type shit.
Yeah.
And then it usually stops right there. Like, yeah, I'm good. But mental health to me is like everything beyond I'm good. You get what I'm saying? Like really just that conversation of everything beyond I'm good. So we was just having real, like honest conversation.
No, that's good, and I think that's important because it's weird because like before the pandemic, we was having like the I'm good, are you good? Yeah, we good conversations, but then like now it's like, yo, I think we've all been through this one really traumatic event that we're going to be referring to for the rest of our lives.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? People talk about 2020, you're going to be like, yo, like your kid's going like, it's going to pop up on the register, $20, 20 cents. You're going to look at your kids, be like, you don't know what I went through that year.
Niggas is cooped up in the crib for real.
Yeah, but it's cool that we get to have those conversations now because it's like, yo, it's like I don't know, before that we didn't get to really do that.
Right. I think people just had the time to talk. Yeah. Like, that's really what it was. It's like, what the fuck else you doing? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, especially people that weren't used to being in the crib. You get what I'm saying? Because, like, as I said, for me, I was like, I'm used to being in the house. But people that weren't used to that shit, it's like, all right, nigga, like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I think a lot of people ended up picking up hobbies and shit like that, which is dope. So it's like, I don't know. I think, obviously, that shit was one of them things where if we could have avoided that altogether, I would have loved to. But you know what I mean? But I think with anything in life, it's kind of like you got to find a silver lining in this shit. And it's like, there's a little bit of it in there, you know?
And you've been working. But before we get to the music, you know, as I have gotten acquainted to you and who you are and where you're from and your music, of course, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I got to know you over the past couple weeks through shout out my girl Nikki who was supposed to be here with us. She put me on to you.
GOAT, yo.
The GOAT, yeah, man.
Nikki is amazing. Like that camera shit. She's great. She's great.
And so with that, you know, with me getting to know you, I'm like, oh shit, like I want to make sure other people get to know you. So I know it can sound kind of monotonous, but where are you from? Obviously we in Brooklyn, so you're from Brooklyn. I said that already. But where in Brooklyn you from, and how did we kind of get into this music stuff? Like how did this kind of begin for you?
Yeah. So HDBeenDope from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn nigga from the 9, if you asking. You know what I'm saying? I said that in a song, Bands 2, that I dropped a couple years ago. Yeah, so I'm right there, like same area, like Bobby Shmurda, if you thinking, yeah, same area type shit. Yeah, so I started music. I think I might have started writing when I was like 9 or some shit like that. And I wasn't really listening to hip hop heavy in the house because my mom, she was more into like calypso music and country even and gospel music. Like that's what I was listening to. And she was like very big on like keeping me a child. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a kid. So even in the car, I was like, it's either the gospel shit or whatever, or it's like AM, what is it? Radio Disney, that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of shit that she had.
I think we all got put through the Radio Disney shit as a kid though.
Yeah, I'm saying, and granted, for you know, at that age, some of it was fire, but like I still had this urge because my brother's older than me, like, but he was like active. You dig what I'm saying? So he was listening to a lot of other shit. He had 50 Cent mixtapes, a lot of Rockefeller shit, early Rockefeller shit. So it's like I was just tapping into him. Like when my moms would leave and my brother's taking care of me, essentially, he just in his room blasting all types of camera, and I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is that? Like that's what I need to be.
That is hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying
Radio
to hear.
Disney shit.
Yeah,
man.
so I was going to school in Manhattan, right? And I used to just take my brother's CDs. I had a CD player, take his CDs and just be on the train listening to all this shit. I'd be at lunch listening to all this shit. I remember I had Snoop Dogg, Rhythm and Gangster, right?
Okay.
And my 4th grade teacher, she was like, does your mother know you listen to this? I'm like, yeah. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to take this, and next time I see her, I'll ask her about it. I'm like,
I hate that shit, yo.
What the fuck is you doing? Like, it's not even your shit. Like, but whatever. She ended up, like, taking it, and I had a whole conversation, but my mom wasn't even tripping about it. She was just like, why are you taking it, the CDs? And I like this shit.
It's like, you know, it's funny that quick thing about the teacher, because I remember when we used to bring, like, it's super different, but, like, we used to bring, like, Yu-Gi-Oh cards to school, and, like, the teacher would be like, does your parents know you brought this to school with you?
That shit is dumb.
And then you either say yes or no, but it doesn't matter what you say because they're still gonna take it and show them anyway.
Yeah, make it a thing. Like, bro, like, let me be a fucking kid, bro.
Yeah, like I'm gonna take it back home with me anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no need
to
drag it. But that was kind of fun. So what do you remember was like the first real hip hop tape that you ever listened to? If you can remember that. You mentioned like your brother bumping Cam and like.
I want to say
shit like that.
I don't know the first, but I know like I had my rotation at that time. I was listening to the Young Guns album, first album. I was listening to Cameron, Purple Haze, 50 Cent, Guess Who's Back, and Get Rich or Die Trying. Heavy shit for me. Freeway album.
Okay.
And yeah, that was like
my
major rotation at the time. You know what I'm saying? That was my shit. Like just riding home on the train, listening to that shit nonstop. You know what I'm saying?
Now, super random question since you mentioned that you're from the non, because I've had people on the show who have been from the same area as you and who have talked about like when Bobby and Rowdy were around and growing up around that. Did you ever see any of that, them like growing up? Like were they ever around anything like that? I'm just curious because I know like certain people have brought that up on this show before.
Yeah. I feel being in the neighborhood like. It's like, okay, I seen niggas, but not from a distance.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Especially being the fact that I went to school in Manhattan. Because I've been going to school in Manhattan since I was 9.
Right. You didn't go to school with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, like, there was definitely, like, a bit of a separation. And I feel like even musically, that kind of comes across in a way.
Of
you
course.
Know what I'm saying? Because of that. So, yeah, there was, like, definitely a bit of separation. But that's in me. You feel me?
Because when I was listening to your shit, and I mentioned this before the interview, I said, you sound like if Kendrick and Cole grew up in New York. Like a mix of Kendrick and Cole if they grew up in New York.
Yeah.
But it's cool. So when it came to that musical inspiration, because obviously, you know, the music you're making is pretty much completely different than a lot of the music that comes out of you know, that area. And to some respect, Brooklyn, where did that kind of sound come for you? You know what I'm saying? Like where did that kind of inspiration and shit?
Yeah, so as I said, when I was 9, I'm listening to all that music, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get into middle school, so I'm like 11 at this point. And I tell my homies, I'm like, yeah, we gonna start rapping. just on a whim. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, I'm not listening to Wayne heavy. This is Wayne's mixtape run. I saw like the beginning of that. So I'm listening to Wayne heavy, and we was just recording on like a cassette tape type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just recording raps and things like that. And everything was of that ilk. I was a Wayne and 50 Cent baby 100%. You know what I'm saying? All middle school. Yeah. Then I get to fucking high school. Well, I was in the like this bridge program for my high school. It's basically like summer school to get you acclimated with the school and shit like that. So at that point, I had to do this some project, right? Some art project where we was like flipping through magazines and just cutting out shit that was like, this represents you. And I found this game called Trackspad in the back of a Source magazine, right? It's a PSP game to make beats. Okay. So I'm like, oh shit, this is hard.
The PSP game, okay.
That's dope. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't got nobody to make beats for me. I can't afford to get no beats, so I'm about to start making beats myself. I ended up fucking lying to my grandmother to get bread. Went to Flatbush, GameStop, and caught that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like now I'm in the space of like, all right, cool. I want to make my own shit completely from scratch type shit. And I was just trying to tap in with like, who the fuck is doing that? And J. Cole was around at this point, right? This is warm up.
Right. Early mixtape. Early mixtape.
So I found out about J. Cole and I'm like, oh, this nigga be making his own beats, blah, 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 right? And that was the shift for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that, when I heard Cole rapping the way he was rapping, I was like, oh, damn. So this introspective shit, because it felt very real. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like, because again, I'm a Wayne 50 Cent baby. It felt like, okay, you can tell your real story in the music and, you know, just be honest and use it as your therapy almost. So that was my shift. So when I was like 14, I was like, okay, cool. Like I then essentially was like the J. Cole baby, you know what I mean? And from J. Cole, I started going into more other hip hop shit, you know what I'm saying? Through J. Cole, it's now like Souls and Mischief, because he rapped on that shit. So it's like all this different type of shit I started picking up, and it was just like a chain reaction type shit, you know? So that's the type of shit that helped me kind of develop to be the artist that I am. It's just from that moment that planted a seed for sure.
Right, yeah, because like, I mean, you still have like the rawness of like being from New York. Yeah. But like in the sense of how you even mentioned with like the J. Cole and like the emotions and how he spits, it's like it's very also reminiscent of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I would say like if there were other people similarly in that type of lane, I would also say like Coda the Friend is in like a similar lane like that as well. But I like that because it's like a different aspect of New York music. Because you know what I'm saying? You look at New York music now and it's like obviously like drill is like the big wave.
For sure.
But then like there's also other waves in New York that are prevalent, and obviously you are part of that wave, and that wave is even growing, because you know we're gonna talk about the Rolling Loud and shit like that. Yeah. But like I even like, you know, especially with the projects that you've dropped, like I feel like from top to bottom, even with I love a good intro. You feel me?
I'm big on intros as well.
I'm a big intro person, and on the Broken Dreams, like the intro, like at first it was like throwing me off a little bit, but then like once you train your ear to listen to whatever you're playing, you're like, oh yeah, this is great, this is hard, I fuck with this heavy. With the Broken Dreams project, right? Yeah. What did you kind of want to accomplish with that, since that was the last project that we have out?
So I made that project based on like where I was in my life. All my mixtapes are kind of just me living for whatever period of time, and then just recapping my life. So I went on tour in 2017 with Portugal The Man, right? This is like before they
you mentioned them in the bar.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like those are the homies. I like really love everybody over there just for even having me on. Because at that point, I really was in a place where it's like, y'all niggas didn't need me here at all. Like really, you didn't need me there. So,
they're a band, correct?
Yeah.
I have been to festivals where they perform, but I've never been 1000% sure they're a band or.
Nah, like they a band. They're that nice too. Like I mean, I'm close to it, and I was watching them niggas perform every night, but like they get busy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they just good people. So, but yeah, I was on tour with them, and I was in a space of like living this dream. Like I was in Europe right before I went on tour with them. So I was in Europe in February, got on the road with them in March, didn't come back home till mid-April. So I'm like, this point, I'm a rapper. Like, the fuck?
You
like,
said I'm outside,
yeah,
but
like,
I'm outside the country
yeah,
too.
Niggas
Like,
can't,
you can't touch me right now.
Niggas don't even know what this shit is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
Like,
facts.
I'm at the brasserie and shit like that. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so I was living this life. I'm feeling like, oh, I'm a rapper for real. And plus, even being on the road, like, that was the most that I've ever made off music. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, yeah.
Even before I got there, it was them telling me how much I was getting paid. I'm like, nigga, what? Like, oh shit! Like,
that overseas bag is different.
Even the overseas shit was cool because I was running overseas circuit for a little bit. Like since like 2014, I had my first show in Paris, right? So I was doing that all through 2015. I had like a couple runs in Europe. So that was at that point it was cool to me, but the US shit was like, oh shit, now I'm here because like. Obviously, having a big base in Europe is dope, but, you know, in order to be the mainstream act in America, you have to be in America. You know what I mean? Niggas got to know you out here. You get what I'm saying? So, like, I was in this space where I was like, all right, I'm running the European circuit, but, like, nobody really is checking for me out here. So, I was happy to even just be in a place where I could get on the road and, you know, make fans across the U.S. So, I'm on the road with them, living this great life, everything's cool, you know what I'm saying? I'm out there with my homies, like it feels great. Then I get off the road, and I was in the space of like, I bet now what? Like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, I gotta get it going, because again, I was living in this dream, but now it's like, all right, everything's reality, you know what I'm saying? I realized, fuck, we spent all this bread, basically, so the realities of being an artist that's not that high yet, you know what I'm saying? You thinking that you making all this money. That's where gross net comes from. You know what I'm saying? You thinking that oh, nigga, I'm lit. Like,
I'm getting the bag. Yeah.
And then you come home and you realize, oh, shit, you got to pay this. You got to be spent on this. Oh, hotels cost, that gas cost. Everything fucking costs, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? There's dealing with that. Like, I bet in my head, $20,000 at, you know, when you first touch some money, like even the first time you touched $1,000, nigga, you don't think $1,000 ain't gonna go nothing. Like, how am I run out of $1,000 when you first got it? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the
in
first
New York,
time.
it's easy,
right?
You step outside,
but I'm talking about the first time you touched the 1,000. You know what I'm saying? You like, nigga, I'm good. Like, I ain't lit. I can go around do what I want, and then you realize how quick that money go. You're like, oh shit, this is nothing. But now you up that to 20,000. I'm really nigga, I'm good. And then realizing that shit don't really stretch either. So that was dealing with that reality. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like, all right, bet. I made this project Broken Dreams with like 3 different mindsets, right? It's broken and then dreams, which is basically like me being a broken person, because that shit kind of like put me in this place like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And even me reflecting on life and shit like that, and you know, you kind of grow up with like certain ideologies that people kind of pass down to you, and you realize like, damn, like not everything that I was taught is the right thing, you know what I'm saying? But you just living like that. And then dreams, in the sense of like you actually living your dreams. And then there's broken dreams, like just the words together, which is like I was at the point where I'm having niggas that I was rapping with growing up. You know what I'm saying? And them niggas talking about, oh yeah, I'm about to go get this job. Yeah, that rap shit ain't it. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, nigga, I thought you was in this. Like, you know what I mean? People talking like, yo, this ain't.
People giving
like,
up.
Yeah, it's like our reality is kicking in for you niggas. And it's like, nigga, this is my reality. Like, this set in for me. Like, you know what I mean? This idea that people, let's be realistic. Nigga, I'm realistic as fuck. Like, this is it. There's nothing else.
There's nothing. This is it. I'm rapping. That's it. We doing all this. That's it.
Yeah, and then the last one is broke and dreams, which is dealing with the fact that nigga got off the road.
Which is why the N is
broke.
Which is why the N is capitalized.
Capitalized,
okay.
Exactly. Which is getting off the road and actually realizing, nigga, I'm broke. Like, and having to deal with the reality of how people see you now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the reality of perception, you know? Like, people see, oh, you doing this, you went here, oh, this nigga good, oh, this nigga busy. And I'm in the crib like, I am not good, I am not busy. Like, nigga, what the fuck is good right now? You know what I'm saying? And having to figure that out. And all throughout the project, you getting all of these stories. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's Broken Dreams in a nutshell. I mean, that was kind of long.
No, that was good. I like those type of explanations, but that makes me think of like, you know, when you look on social media, it's like whether you look at your gram, my gram, it's like, oh cool, he's got all this music, or oh cool, he's doing all these interviews, but you don't really see like the moments where things go left or things go downhill. You know what I'm saying? You don't see like the external battles that the person is facing, whether they're facing battles of money or battles, you know, with an exterior force or battles inside themselves. You don't really see any of that shit. It's just as like you look at the face value and you're like,
exactly.
Hey, yo, HD, he doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, like all that shit is cool, you know what I'm saying? And like the reality of it, as I said, and with this being my reality, it's like I already had a mindset of like, no matter how stressed out I'm feeling, whatever it is, nigga, I was 9 years old, right? I had a girlfriend, and we was like, we had this like art exhibit or some shit like that, right?
You said you was 9?
I was 9, right?
Oh,
so her mom's is there, right? And I think I was showing her my art piece, right? To Shorty's mom's. And she's like, oh, so what do you want to be when you get older? It's like, I'm gonna be a rapper, right? And I remember walking away from her like, damn, I probably shouldn't have said that.
At 9 years
like,
old though?
9 years old.
You remember this?
Deadass.
Okay.
But my point being is like this shit is my reality. You dig what I'm saying? So even when I'm going through the woes and shit like that, I'm still in the place of like, nah, niggas gonna get out of this. Niggas gonna be good. But that don't change the fact that you still gotta go through the fucking woes. Like everybody gonna deal with the moments of like, yo, what the fuck? But you know what I mean? The niggas that really do this shit gonna pick it back up.
If you in it, you in it. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta pick it back up. So.
Now, I feel like even in doing this, you know what I'm saying? You see the people who are able to push through certain things. You know what I'm saying? You see like the people who might give up too early, who don't, you know, because I think whether it be music, whether it be, you know, creating a platform or whatever it is, shit takes a long time regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like people expect like, oh, if you don't get your first 1 million views within the first year, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, what am I doing? But people don't realize that like it takes years and time and planning and just consistent music, consistent content with this consistent content to like build up that fan base and build up the following and build up, you know, people wanting to offer you bags to do certain things. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like that Portugal The Man tour didn't happen overnight. You feel me?
Definitely
that was just like years of work and shit like that.
100%. I mean, opportunities when preparation meets success. What the fuck is it?
Does anybody know what that means?
Come on, what's the quote?
Opportunity meets...
No.
No.
Is it?
Luck meets...
Yeah, luck meets when opportunity meets preparation.
Some shit like that.
Let's go.
Somebody's got to comment on it. Yeah, somebody's got to. But
these niggas is dumb.
They not as woke as they think they is. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
There you go.
We're not stupid. We say Google.
Shout out to Google.
But you know, kind of going off the tour stories. You know, we got a lot. You're back performing now, right? We back outside.
Factually.
And we obviously the big thing that's happened to you is, you know, Rolling Loud is coming back to New York, right? Which is incredible. I don't know if you were at the last. I know you didn't perform at the last Rolling Loud, but you weren't. I don't know if you were there.
I wasn't at the one in New York. I went to Miami.
Right. We did talk about you being at the one in Miami. The one in New York is different. It definitely is like a vibe, and it's super cool because you get to see like a lot of like young New York people back outside doing all the shows. Like a lot of people have been on this show have been on it, and I'm excited for you to be performing.
I'm hella excited, bro.
How did that happen? How did you get the call? Like how did that work out?
So my booking agent Josh, he was just like, yeah, you know, I think we might be able to do Rolling Loud this year. I'm like, all right, like, if it's possible, like, let's see what's up. And yeah, he just connected the dots. You know what I'm saying? It was maybe like a week, couple weeks.
Oh wow!
And then I got the email with an offer, and I'm like, oh shit, I bet. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Josh for holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Like he do good things.
Your first Rolling Loud.
Yeah, he do good things.
How you feeling? How you feeling about it?
I'm crazy excited. It's one of them things. Like I mean, I still don't even know how much time I got in my set, but I'm in a place of like, all right, what am I gonna perform? You know what I'm saying? Like performing is my favorite shit. You dig? Like my I don't making music in general. I like coming up with songs, and I like performing. Everything in between is like peaks and valleys for me. But those two things are like the highest shit. You get what I'm saying? So I'm hyped as fuck to actually get to be on stage and, you know,
doing your thing.
Yeah, just making that shit a moment.
I'm trying to think how long they be. I feel like they be like 20, 30, or 45. and then the long sets for the headliners.
Right.
But I mean, you still have enough time to play a bunch of joints regardless.
It's crazy because like even with how long I've been like doing the ringer and shit like that, like I'm at a point where I can do an hour set. You dig what I'm saying? That's what I was doing in Europe. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I'm in the space where it's like, okay, if I need to go, I can go. And I think the biggest part about performing for me is being in front of crowds that don't really know the shit. Like, I like that shit. Like, I know a lot of niggas don't like that because they just used to getting on stage and everybody just saying the words and they just get to, like, jump up for 30 minutes, which is fire. The shit looks amazing. It sounds amazing, all that. But for me, like, I get a rush out of niggas looking at me like this in the beginning of this shit and the end of it going, I fuck with this nigga.
Or somebody, like, maybe mosh pit into, like,
like,
shit.
that shit, when you can see you changing somebody's whole perception of you throughout 30 minutes, it's like, nah, nigga, like,
that's hard.
It's me. Like, there's a different level of control that comes with being on stage. You know what I'm saying? And I enjoy that shit just because it's like people want to enjoy themselves, but some people just don't know how to enjoy themselves. And I feel like all this music shit is just communication. You get what I'm saying? It's like communication is all about knowing how to speak to people certain ways. You know, everybody has the ability to learn some shit, but you might not be able to teach everybody. You get what I'm saying? But being on stage, it's like it forces me to tap into like, all right, cool, I see this person here. What would get this nigga that's standing like this? What's gonna get this nigga to move? Right. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's where I be at in my head. So it's like, that type of shit is fun to me. So I know going into Rolling Loud, like, cool, I might have a couple people that know the shit, but it's like, nah, I'm here for the niggas that are going to be looking at me like, who's this nigga? That's what I'm here for. You dig what I'm saying? That's what I'm
And then I'm going to run
about.
up on you once you get off stage and shit like that with, like, a surprise interview. Like yo, AC, I need 5 minutes.
Yeah,
5 minutes.
Come on, we got to do it. We definitely got to do it.
Nah, but I love festival season. You know, speaking of like, you know, things that are going to get people to move, I feel like Best Hour is really one of those records. And because of one, you know, how hard you came on it, and of course the visuals, and I bring it up, of course, because it's your most recent release. And the visuals are incredible for it. With this record, you know,
shout out to Erickson, my homie.
Erickson, he's the one who shot it.
Erickson, yeah, he did that video.
Shout out to Erickson, man, because you killed that shit. That was my first introduction to him, and it was a good introduction. Yeah. With this record, right? What did you kind of want to, you know, because it's a very definitive, you know, thing that you're, you know, I'm best out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so what did you really kind of want to get across with this joint?
Yeah, nah, for sure. For me, it was a statement piece more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the reality of it is, like, even my name, HDBeenDope. The BeenDope is all what Best Out is. You get what I'm saying? Like, for me, so I said, this might have been my first mixtape. I don't even remember, but some point in time, the line was, fuck the new artist title, HDBeenDope, right? And then I needed a Twitter name. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to just go with HDBeenDope. And that's how the shit became my rap name, right?
I got you.
So I was running with that shit. But, like, for me, BeenDope really stems from, like, I had to know that this shit was possible before anybody believed it. You dig what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this shit had to come from me first. You dig what I'm saying? Anybody that is willing to put out anything into the world has something inside of them, has to believe my shit's worthy of being seen by people. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you're doing interviews, like, something in you had to believe, yes, I am worth people looking at my shit. Right. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's that BeenDope mentality. So, like, that's where that shit comes from for me. So Best Out is essentially just tapping into that. It's like, cool. Me saying that, niggas might be like, nigga, how the fuck is he the best out? Yo, you don't see this person doing this nigga's doing that. Nigga, fuck all of that. Like, I believe it. You dig what I'm saying? Right. And it's like, I had to believe it before anybody else believed it. So, eventually you'll catch on.
Right. No, I definitely, if you're watching this, you ain't seen the video yet, please go watch that, because the video is very dope. And I like that with your visuals, you know what I'm saying? Like, the visuals match the art, match the music. You feel me? For sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes visuals won't always match the music, but I feel like your visuals is one of those moments where it matches completely.
Yeah. Nah, me and E definitely, you know, sit down and we just be spitballing ideas and, you know, just come up with these concepts. Some cool shit, though.
So we talking Best Out, right? I want to do like a top 5 with you. Do you want to do top 5 MCs of all time or New York MCs of all time? Since we brought up Rolling Loud, that's what I did there. So I was like top 5 New York MC since we was in New York. But we could do top 5 all time if you feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, we do top 5 all time. I mean, I don't even know if this is gonna be my top 5 all time. This is gonna be my top 5 that I'm thinking of
right now at this moment. In time.
Yeah.
This moment in time.
Jay is definitely on there. I mean,
of course.
Come on, it's Jay.
Yeah.
That's easy. I think Wayne for sure.
Okay.
Because that was pivotal for me. 50 Cent for sure, because that's like my introduction to this shit for real. Cole, because of that's like my transition essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting Big L on there because I just fuck with the shit talk. I fuck with the like shit talk like that. That level of fuck these niggas. I'll enjoy it so much. I enjoy that shit so much.
I love that. I saw a different side of you pop out. You like, yeah. Like when you riding around and you angry, you just throwing some Big L. You like, yeah, we getting right now.
That's definitely a part of my shit. You know what I'm saying? But as I said, that's like that shit's ever changing. I feel like my number 5 probably changed because I could easily interchange Big L for other people, but like right now, that's definitely where I'm at.
It was funny because I don't know why this just made me, because this was something else I meant to bring up earlier when we were talking about the project, is that one thing that I did like when I was listening to your shit was I kept hearing the Jungle Beats tag, right?
Yeah.
And what I loved about that is like that tag does something to you, because obviously you remember it because of 2014 with Bobby and shit like that.
Facts.
But like it's cool because you don't really hear it too much, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when you do hear it, I feel like when I hear it, it's always attached to something really dope.
Yeah, I feel like
you feel me?
For sure.
Like you don't hear, so I thought that was really cool. How did that situate, if you don't mind kind of giving a quick
for sure.
little thing on that?
I had that concept because again, I've been working on I started like the concept of the tape. How even that shit comes about is like I write down everything that I went through within that time period, and then I start like picking through like, okay, this could be a song, like shit that actually has like a lesson or some type of morale to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, boom. Now I write the track list, and then I just try to match the music to what this sounds like. So I had Off the Block as the title. I'm like, what the fuck does that sound like? I'm like, all right, yeah, this shit just, I live in the 9. You know what I'm saying? Bodies, it's like, okay, cool. I want this shit to feel like that, essentially. And I had my homie Shawnee. He actually was like, he made a couple versions of that beat. You know, I did maybe like 1 or 2 skeletons, and then I went to Shawnee. I was like, yo, can you like make something in this vein? Because he actually, like, he does type beats type shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, cool, you do it. He did some shit, and it was like, all right, this is cool, but it wasn't it all the way. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. And I was like, I'm going to still go look for more shit. Maybe a year later, I ended up going back to one of the ones that he sent me. I was like, nah, something about this is good, but it needs another level. So I was talking to my homie Brandon, and I was just playing him the record and shit like that. And, you know, I'm like, yo, who do you think could like elevate this production? He's like, oh, first listen, I'm saying Jalil. And I'm like, all right, nigga, but like, that shit don't seem tangible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, I know his manager. I'm like, okay, word. So he ended up getting in contact with his manager and, you know, sent them the reference and shit like that. And he was down to actually work on it. So shout out to Jalil, you know, like, put that shit together, and it's dope. It's definitely one of my favorite records conceptually, all that shit. You know what I mean? The vibe, everything. And
the fact that, you know, we're talking about producers, and you got an upcoming collab project with a producer too.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? It's cool. We talk about it? I'm gonna let you announce it.
Yeah. I'm maybe we won't say exactly who, because I'm thinking
you can't talk about it before the interview. Just say it. Nah, you don't have to. I don't press people to say nothing.
Yeah, nah, I don't know, because we might want to roll that out differently. But
okay,
you know what I mean? We definitely got some shit. We got some shit for sure. Me and my mans got some shit. So. Just know.
And you have 2 collab projects on the way.
Yeah, we got 2 projects gonna be dropping. So expect a lot of music. You know what I'm saying?
This is all very exciting.
Yeah,
so
I feel good.
We got projects. Oh, and also I saw your record made Madden 21, correct?
Yeah, top. So that shit was interesting because basically I just got hit up and it was just like, yeah, we looking for music type shit, and I was like, all right, well, let me go make a record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I made that song specifically for Madden. So it was dope because, like, even just the response for people, they was just like, yo, this is, like, the best song in Madden. You dig what I'm saying? So I was happy that people really fucked with it. So I was happy about that one for sure.
That was dope. But how did that feel for you to be in Madden?
That shit is wacky, bro. Like, cause like,
are you a Madden player? Or are you a 2K?
Yeah,
or are you both?
Nah, I'm 2K
okay, you 2K,
heavy,
okay,
but like
gotcha,
I play
gotcha.
Madden as well. You know what I mean? I've been getting Madden probably every year. It's like I just fuck with Madden, so it's like that shit is just wild to even be playing the game, and it's like, yeah, nigga, I hear myself. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like when I be playing UFC. It's like I created a fighter. I'll be walking out to my own shit, but like it's like, nigga, what the fuck? This shit is wacky.
Do you see yourself collaborating with more people in the coming, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like most of the stuff is you, obviously, aside from the producer tapes and whatnot, the collab tapes. Do you see yourself kind of venturing out, working with more people, kind of, doing some other things?
Yeah,
now that outside open.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's cool to tap in with people. I think on a project, the one I was talking about, Landstrip Chip, he did some shit for me on there. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a good joint. we got some dope shit. And then, I'm just tapping in with people now. My homie Fresh the Prophet, he's actually from out here. We got a joint. Yeah. So it's like I'm just tapping more into people now. You know what I mean? I normally was like super because I produce shit. I fucking mix my shit. You know what I mean? I just do everything very much in the crib. So I was in that space of like, all right, cool, I'll just do everything. And then if people reach out, then it makes sense. But now I'm kind of in this space of like, I like jumping into other people's worlds. You know what I mean? Like, that's even with like me doing like the free verses and shit like that that I be putting out on like YouTube and Instagram and shit. It's like I just like jumping into other people's worlds. So I think that's what my feature run is going to be. Me just tapping into other shit, being on shit that people don't even expect me on.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I know it's like a random question, but since you just kind of brought up the verses and shit like that, like, would you ever, like, I don't know, try to do something with one of these drill people? Is that something you ever be interested in doing?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Especially because obviously we in Brooklyn, the heart of New York City drill.
Nah, 100%. There's a lot of people that I fuck with in the scene. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's definitely one of the things that I would be down to tap into. So. I'm with that. I think even like my record bands too, the one that made it on UFC, like that shit is very much in that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a variation of it, but it's in that space. So I feel like I could tap in with niggas and still get busy.
I mean, I think you could get busy regardless. I think you, like, if you went on a record with them, I feel like that shit would be crazy. Shit would be crazy.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
So we got the 2 collab projects coming out. Obviously, I'm assuming more singles, more visuals. Anything else you got on the way that the people got to make sure that they look out for?
Yeah, I mean, Rolling Loud is the biggest one. You know what I'm saying? If you trying to come fuck with me, I feel like if you look into, like, if you watch the shit, right, and you're like, he's cool. Maybe you go listen to a song, you go, he's cool. You go to a show, you're not walking away with it.
He's dope.
It's not, he's cool. Even if you like, I don't want to listen to this shit, you still gonna walk away with, that's that nigga. That's just how the shows go.
I'm out to a song at Rolling Loud.
That's just how the shows go. Like, when I tell you, like, I do the show shit, I do the show shit.
I love that, man. Well, look, I'm excited for everything you got coming along. I'm excited to run up on you at Rolling Loud NYC because I'll be back there. I'll be in the trenches with my camera guy. I'll be like, yo, get your ass out. We gotta go. We got interviews to do. But, congratulations on everything. And, I'm happy that we back outside. We gonna get to experience. I'm gonna get to experience your performance firsthand. I'm gonna definitely be at that Rolling Loud at 1,000%.
For sure.
Let the people know where they could follow you at. Anything else you want to go ahead throw in there? Now's the time to do it. This camera right here.
I bet. Yeah, everything HDBeenDope. That's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you want to find me at. HDBeenDope. Yeah, just hit me up. You know what I mean? Let me know how you feel about the music. Go listen to some shit. Good or bad, I don't really care. Just tell me what you think. You dig?
Boom. There it is. HDBeenDope on the radar, baby. My guy, appreciate you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, for real.
Boom.
Thank you.